Alright, so class, my name is Johnny Shaban, and this is my presentation on the dispositions to teach. Question 1, what dispositions, make you a successful teacher? Trustworthiness is easily up there, like number 1. If the students can trust you, they will tell you when they're being bullied or when their home life isn't always the best. That takes me to my next point, knowledge. If you're knowledgeable in your field, and the teachers and the students can sense that, they'll want to be in your class because they actually want to learn. They don't have to sit through a teacher that like, oh, this guy got the information off Google. They know you know your stuff. And be able to identify and relate current issues. Again, that kind of goes up with trustworthiness because it kind of builds into the trust factor. If you can relate to them, they'll want to be able to go to your class because they can trust you. They can trust you if they're being bullied, or they can trust you with whatever issue they might be going through. What dispositions do I need to work on before I enter a classroom? Easy, patience, and filter. Right now, I have absolutely no patience. So like, if a student is not understanding something within like the first 3 times of me explaining to them, I'll tell them something, and that oftentimes can offend them or get me into trouble. That goes directly with my second point, which is filter. Right now, I do not have a filter. Like, I don't filter my words before I say it, I just say it. And that also gets me into a lot of trouble, as you guys can imagine. Yeah. What attributes should a professional educator have? Easily, they should be professional all the time, as professional as possible all the time. You never know who's watching. You could be out with your wife or your parents or your husband. It don't matter. And your principal might be at the next table, or your parents, or your learning director. It doesn't matter. You always should have some kind of professionalism in you at all times. You never know who's watching. The student, principal, it don't matter. Confidence. Confidence is key. That kind of goes in with knowledge in a way, because if the students can sense that you're confident, they're going to want to be in your class because they're going to be like, oh, this guy, I love going to this guy. His charisma is over the top, like he just loves what he's doing. Creative in how you present the material. If I had just basic black and white, you guys wouldn't want to pay attention. You'd be like, oh, just another basic presentation. You probably threw it together at the last minute. But because I have like something going, you guys are like hooked. You guys want to watch it. Also, be able to integrate technology. 20 years ago, we didn't have iPhones or the Samsung Note. We didn't have that stuff. We didn't have easy access to the internet. Now kids have internet access at the tips of their fingers. Part 2 to question 3. What standards guide the thinking and actions of teachers? Understanding how your students learn. If your students learn by hands-on, then obviously your lesson plans need to be a little more hands-on. Continuous self-improvement, that is obviously like key. You can't just come into work the same person every day. Some days, you have to learn what goes on and how to effectively teach to them. And continually changing your teaching styles. Again, like technology, 20 years ago we didn't have iPhones. Now we do. So every day technology is changing. There's things that's coming out, and the students are going to be like, oh, this guy's got the newest technology. I love going to his classroom. Question 4, the dispositions that positively or negatively affect the student. Teachers never know what's going on in the home life. Like, little Jimmy might not know his father, whereas Tracy might know her father, and Tracy goes to home every day knowing that she's loved, whereas Jimmy might not. You never know what they're going through. So you have to be able to relate to these students. Allowing students to think for themselves. If they're into a classroom where you're just forcing the information down their throat, they aren't going to want to go because it's not a positive environment. If you're letting them talk to you about what's going on, they might want to come more effectively. How will you uphold these expectations? I hold myself to the highest standard. Whenever I set my mind to become something, I set my mind to become the best, and I expect my students to do the same. Refreshing myself constantly on what it takes to become an effective teacher. Again, nothing is constant. Nothing is constant. Everything is changing at all times. So if you can change with the time, you'll be good. I will come into work with a professional attitude and try not to let one student having a bad day affect my whole day. If you can do that, you can easily become a Cancer. Question 6, how will I promote healthy moral development with my students in the future classroom? I'm a firm believer that if a student is allowed to be themselves, as long as they aren't becoming a Cancer in the classroom, it will help them become better learners. It'll help them want to come to class. And if they become too much of a hassle, then obviously I will have to find ways to help deal with that and effectively discipline them. Thank you.